Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Burnham, and this is my Let's Play of Wizardry 1, The Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. Uh, yeah, I'll be doing this Let's Play with the astounding help of Grid Cartographer 4, which is an amazing program that I highly recommend that you use if you want to play old games like this, especially dungeon crawlers from the DOS era. It's a really amazing tool, and I'm looking forward to it helping me out through this game. It has been a while since I've recorded a video and put it on my YouTube channel, so excuse me if I'm a little rusty, but I was looking around YouTube and I couldn't find any really spectacular Let's Plays of this game, which I think is a real shame, and I think it's because it's so old. It's over 30 years old at this point, which is kind of nuts, but I think it's still extremely important, and that should be pretty self-evident from how many top 100 lists it still makes, how many top games of all time lists it still makes. Just pretty impressive. But yeah, I'm going to read you some history here. This is the first Wizardry game. Obviously, it was released in 1981, primarily designed by Andrew Greenberg and Robert Woodhead of Surtech. And yeah, those two guys are the main brains behind this. And Brenda Romero was actually a playtester on this game. She's at the time her name was Brenda Garno, and then later was known as Brenda Brathwaite. That's how I primarily knew her because of Wizardry 8, because she was the one of the lead designers on that game. But this is where she started her career, basically at Surtech. She was a tester on Wizardry 1. And you can even see her name in the credits if you look in the manual, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, so what else should I talk about before we get into this? This is Grid Cartographer, and I'll kind of help you guys get acquainted with it as we go. But just to talk about the setup that I have going on here for now, I've got our top-down kind of map view here, and I've got our 3D first-person view over here that we'll be able to see the map populate in, and I've got the main game view, obviously, that's running in DOSBox. And this is a special custom version of DOSBox that will enable us to basically auto-map our game as we're going through Wizardry. So whenever I make a move on the map in the game, it's going to also move our avatar or marker in the map view and also in the 3D view, which I think is pretty awesome. I'm going to have bulldoze mode turned on so that it will generate the map as we move, so I won't have to draw in everything. I will be drawing in a lot of stuff, though, I imagine, as we come across treasure chests and ladders and traps and teleport, all kind of nonsense. This game is really difficult. From the little bit that I've researched, I've been able to tell that this game is really, really difficult. It has 10 levels of 20 by 20 grid maps, and there's not really much of a story behind it. Basically, there's this Mad Overlord, the titular Mad Overlord named Trebor, or Robert spelled backwards, who has this magic amulet, and his main rival, Wordna, or Andrew spelled backwards, is a crazy, powerful wizard, steals the amulet from him, and hides beneath 10 levels of dungeon, basically, like, underneath the castle. So Trevor comes up with the great idea of calling these 10 levels the Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, or the Proving Grounds. I don't think he refers to himself as mad. I don't know. There's no like real. There's a little bit of lore in the manual, but it's very sparse. But it was kind of fun to read through that. But basically, we have to go get the amulet back for Trebor, and if we can do that and beat Wordna, then we'll have won the game essentially. It did take a little bit of doing to set up this version of Wizardry with Grid Cartographer. Can't talk because I'm not used to doing this anymore. There's actually two DOS versions of Wizardry that I'm aware of. So there's like the original 1981 release, and then there's the release that came out in the Ultimate Wizardry Archive edition that released in 1998. And the automapper only currently works with the Ultimate Wizardry archive version, so I had to track that down and make sure I had that version before I could use Grid Cartographer. But it works fine so far. I've been testing it. But if you get the original version, just know that it will not work with the Automapper currently. The main guy for Grid Cartographer, it's only one person, but he's doing updates all the time, and I'm sure he's going to add more games. But I can't imagine it's very easy to implement these automapping features. There's only a few games that are supported currently. Maybe I can show you guys that list here if I remember where it is exactly. Setup, floors, palette, grid. You guys will get a whirlwind tour of all the options at least. Yeah, here we go. Compatible auto tracking games. So these are all the other games that are listed. And I'm sorry if you only came here for the Wizardry content, but I think this stuff is pretty interesting. So I have the Beholder, Forgotten Realms, the first 3 Might and Magic games, Pool of Radiance, and then Wizardry 1 through 7, which is plenty. And then there's a couple beta ones for Bard's Tale and Dragon Wars. And I'm really interested in those two as well. But I wanted to start with this kind of Grid Cartographer-led Let's Play with Wizardry 1, where it all started, and see if we can get through the game with the help of some, with this kind of crutch of a software. We're not going to be mapping on actual graph paper, and I felt like this would be a good way to create a video for this game, because otherwise I think it's very hard to watch, because it's hard to know where the player is in relation to the rest of the space. It's really easy to get lost, both in the game and as a viewer. So I think this is going to help a lot, and if you guys like it, please let me know. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Yeah, you can give me some feedback in the comments or whatever. Yeah, anything else we should go through? I'll be painting the map as we go. I have this. There's a lot of viewport layouts set up. If we find one that I like better as we go, I will change to that. But for now, I think I like this setup so far. I like having this 3D view underneath the game so you guys can see a clearer picture of what's going on. And it even tells us our coordinates and the direction that we're facing, which is pretty helpful, even though obviously we can see our direction and our coordinates on the actual grid as well. I think it'll be nice to have it in the 3D view and to just kind of walk around in 3D sometimes, just to check it out. But that's a lot of preamble here. There's a keyboard editing mode as well, which is pretty cool. I'll show you guys more features of Grid Cartographer 4 as we go through. But yeah, let's just get into it. This game does have some sound, but it doesn't have any music that I'm aware of, and the sounds in it are very, very limited. They're just bleeps and bloops for menus and for walking into walls so far, and I think that might be about it. So I might add in some background music to this video. I'm not sure yet, and YouTube is so strict about music nowadays that I really don't want it to get content ID'd. So I want any music that is in the video, I want to be not get content ID'd and demonetized, because that's what happened to a lot of my other videos. And it's still happening to some of my older videos where they're getting content ID'd and demonetized, and that makes me kind of upset, because they raised the minimum amount of subscribers that you have to have before you can make any money on YouTube. So yeah, YouTube sucks, but we're gonna continue to use this platform because it's the biggest and the most well known, and I want as many people as possible to see this game, I guess. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into Wizardry 1. Press S to start, and yeah, so now we're at the castle. It doesn't look like much, but this is where we're mainly going to be interacting with the inn, the temple, Boltax trading post, and which is where we're going to buy stuff and do some other things, and the tavern, which is where we're going to create our, we're going to construct our party and inspect them, divvy out some gold. The options are pretty well laid out, and if we go to the edge of town by pressing E, you can see there's the training grounds, there's the actual maze, which is the dungeon. We can go back to the castle, we can use some utilities, or we can leave the game entirely. And we get around these menus, as you can see, just by pressing the first letter of each of these words that they have kind of split out with these parentheses here, which is kind of nice. There's not Like some old games just kind of expect you to know how to navigate the space. I'm going to probably be going back and forth between this Greek cartographer and the manual a lot, just for some things, because not everything is really spelled out in the game, especially like requirements for characters and what class, like what races can be which classes and alignments, and there's some surprisingly deep stuff going on here. The other thing I'll be checking in the manual pretty often is the spell names and what the spells actually do, because unlike Wizardry 8, the spell names not really tell you what the spells do all the time. You can sort of figure it out, and I'm sure I'll memorize them as we go. But they have crazy names like Mojito and let me look at some other ones here, just for some examples. Body, Lidocan, Badialma, and these are all in the game. Milwa, and that's just priest spells. There's mage spells as well. So there's like 7 levels of mage and priest spells, I think. And what are some of these mage spell names? Dalto, Lahalito. I think those are pretty fun to say. I'm not exactly sure how they come up with them. I know that they're sort of related to what they do, but I think we'll figure that out as we go. So yeah, let's form our party first. So we go to the training grounds for our party, and we hit C to create a character. For our first character, we're going to call her Sophia. And an interesting feature in this game is that you could set a password for your characters, and that way, if you didn't want somebody else, like in your family, that's going to use your computer or whoever, if you don't want them to use your characters, you can enter a password in here, and then they would have to enter the password in to use your characters. And if they don't know them, then they're out of luck. They have to go make their own party, which I think is kind of funny, and not really something that we would see in a modern game now. But yeah, so Sophia, I'm thinking the party that I'm going to create is 2 fighters, a thief, a priest, and 2 mages. That seems to be the most common configuration, and it seems like that should do pretty well. So for our first fighter, I think we're going to make her a human. And humans, I'll just find a race description for you guys, because I think it's interesting here. And I'm currently looking through the Ultimate Wizardry Archives manual, which I found on archive.org, I believe. So yeah, it's still out there. If you want to play this game, the manual is still available, thankfully. One of the problems in playing this game, too, is that it's not available on GOG or Steam or anything. You can buy it in the box on eBay or through Amazon or whatever, but this game hasn't been re-released in like a digital format officially yet. It's on a bunch of abandonware websites, but that's weird for a game that's considered so important and obviously has this massive legacy and has affected Western RPGs and Western game development for 30 years now. It's kind of crazy that we can't buy this game somewhere in an online store. I think that's kind of ridiculous, but I digress. Once again, I'm going to be digressing a lot in this Let's Play, I think. Let's see. I'm trying to find the requirements. The other thing about the manual is that it's not laid out super well. Inspecting character, race. Race. Yeah, it's weird. Here we go. Humans excel at nothing, but have no particular weaknesses except for a decided lack of piety, so they're not very good at being religious or being priests. Dwarves are strong and hardy. They love fine weapons and armor and delight in a good fight, so dwarves are primarily good fighters. Elves are intelligent and pious. Gnomes are pious and agile, and hobbits are agile and very, very lucky. So we're going to have a hobbit as a thief, most likely. So for Sophia, I'm gonna have a mainly good and neutral party. The only class that's restricted to evil is the ninja, and ninja is a is not. It's like a prestige class, I guess. It's like a you need like 17 agility to be a ninja, I think, and you can't start out with a 17 in any ability. I don't think you don't have enough points to actually get there, so you have to multi-class later on. And this game does have multi-classing, just like Wizardry 8. So yeah, we're probably not going to work towards being a ninja in this playthrough unless we really have to later on. This party is probably not the party that we're going to be sticking with throughout the entire game because it's very deadly. Progress throughout the game is mostly going to be marked by the map. I think we're going to lose a lot of characters along the way. I think I'm going to try really, really hard not to let characters die, because if they do, then we can try to resurrect them, but if the resurrection fails, then we'll have to start over from scratch, basically, and create whole new characters and grind our way up levels again. So this Let's Play might get really tedious. I don't know. We're going to find out. But, yeah. Let's make Sophia a good character. And we need 11 strength to be a fighter. That's the only primary requirement, but you can see already that she has 5 piety, so since she's a human, she's bad at being pious, but she's relatively good at everything else. But we only have 2 bonus points left. And as you might imagine, like, vitality affects our hit points. IQ and piety I think we're going to leave alone for now. Fighters have high hit points, can use almost any armor and weapon, and relish their role as shock troops. They may be of any alignment, but can cast no spells. So I think we're going to bump up vitality 1 and probably strength 1 more. And we'll see how that works for now. And we only have 1 class option for Sophia, and we'll keep her. So that's our first character. Next, we need another fighter, and that's going to be our dwarf fighter. So I'm going to call him Harundi, because I just came up with that. And I'm not going to be too precious about names, because we are going to lose a lot of characters, like I said. So dwarves, I don't think are restricted to any... they call prestige classes elite classes, and the 4 elite classes are Bishop, Samurai, Lord, and Ninja. So those classes are not going to be available to us until later in the game. And I would like to work towards a Bishop, because they have the unique ability of identifying unknown items for us, and otherwise to do that we have to go to Boltax's trading post and let him do it for us. So I want to work towards having a Bishop, but otherwise for now we're restricted to Fighter, Mage, Priest, and Thief. It's pretty simple. I don't think dwarves are restricted. Dwarves are strong and hardy. I don't think they're restricted to anything. Nobody is restricted alignment-wise as far as races go. So let's go another good character. Dwarf stats are pretty good. I don't know if these... I don't think these stats are randomized. I think they're always set for based on the race that you pick, but I could be wrong. So again, we're going to have pretty strong fighter. Oh, we can actually get to the 17 here. So I lied. Can't get to 17 agility. I wonder if there's a race that can get to the 17 agility. I don't think so, but there might be. That's interesting. So, and luck in the manual is not spelled out at all. I'm not exactly sure what it affects. It is important for thieves. It's probably good for opening doors and avoiding traps and opening chests and stuff. Maybe it affects how much gold we get or something, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, this dwarf is looking pretty good. Let's do 15, up to 15 strength. I really don't know how good these stats actually are, so we will find out. Seems like agility is really low, but maybe that's okay. We'll keep it. Next character I'm going to make is a priest. And our priest shall be named Eric. Eric the priest is going to be, I believe, gnomes are the good priest race in this game. Priests need 11 piety and may not be neutral, so we're going to have a good priest. Gnomes are pious and agile, probably from praying underground during earthquakes. Due to their ascetic traditions, they make excellent priests. So yeah, gnomes are the quote-unquote suggested priest class, I guess, for this game. So we're going to have a gnome, good priest, and again we need 11 piety. Oh wow, we have a ton of bonus points. Maybe these are randomized. So let me just check here. We need, even though we have the 11 agility, I don't think that we can get to ninja. I think we still have to prestige into that later. Oh, they need a 17 in all their statistics, not just agility. That's why. So yeah, we definitely can't get to 17 in every statistic, and they can only be evil. But maybe we can get to... Maybe we can make him a bishop, actually. 12 IQ and 12 piety is the requirement here, so let me check. 12. Okay, so we can't be a bishop yet. So we have to get to elite classes by changing our class later, it seems like. Or, no, is that the wrong stats? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong stats. It's IQ and piety, right? There we go, bishop. Okay, cool. So we can be a bishop. I'm figuring out this game very slowly, and I'm not, by no means, an expert yet. So, okay. So we can actually start out with a bishop, which I think is going to be really good. So we can identify items. And we want better agility, I think. We'll blow a point on luck, but overall, I think we want a high piety. We probably want some points in strength as well. This is going to be a really good character, I think. 14 IQ and 14 piety. Maybe we want higher piety. This is going to determine how good our spells are. Right? IQ and piety influence your ability to cast and resist spells. Strength affects your skill in combat. So we do want some amount of strength, but I don't think we need to go overboard there. This looks pretty balanced, I think. Hopefully it's not too balanced, but I think it's pretty good. And as you can see, we can't, like, take away... Oh, I thought we wouldn't be able... Alright, I did put points in there. We can't take points away from the base stats, unfortunately, and like put them somewhere else. That's probably a good thing. So we'll pick bishop for Eric. Yeah, keep him. Next, I know this is kind of tedious right now. We're probably going to make a lot more characters in this game, but I swear it's going to get going here a little bit after character creation. So next we are going to make a thief. So our hobbit will be named Bobo. And he's going to be a hobbit. He's going to be... I think thieves have to be neutral. Let me just double check. Yes. Well, they can be neutral or evil, so that's how you would get to a ninja, I think, as well. Thieves need 11 agility and may not be good. So we'll go with neutral. And we already have pretty high agility. Pretty shit stats in everywhere but 11 agility and luck. So I think we're going to need some more vitality, probably some more strength. Our thief is going to be in the back row. So hopefully he'll be kind of protected by the other characters. But should we put one more in agility? Probably don't need another in agility. Probably need more in vitality, hopefully. So we'll try and roll with this. Luck might help him avoid blows as well. I want to see exactly. It just says luck comes to your aid in many mysterious ways. So maybe it'll help us dodge. I don't know. Let's keep him. Next we need to create our mage duo. So I just thought of Palom and Porum, which is from... where's that from? I'm blanking on my references now. Final Fantasy, yeah. So let's go with Palamon Porum. And make sure I'm spelling it correctly. Okay. Palon. And for our mages, we're going to have an elf. We'll make them both elves, I think. And they are not restricted to, like, by alignment, I believe. They just need 11 IQ, so we'll make them good mages. And again, we need 11 IQ. And let's put some more in vitality. They're probably going to be hitting things with stabs an awful lot, so we probably need some strength, like some amount of strength. But let's try that. Mage, yes. And Porum, I think I'm going to make another human just for the stats. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, these stats are more balanced for sure. So we need 11 IQ again. Let's bump up vitality and strength. And this character might be really bad, but we'll find out. Be mage, keep, please. Okay. Leave. Let's add our party. So after we've made our characters, we actually have to add the characters to our party from Gilgamesh's Tavern. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and they'll show up on the bottom there. And already our screen is filling up, looking more interesting. So, what else can I talk about this game? They went in the order that we added them to our party. Our armor class is how hard our characters are to hit, and they start out at 10 because we're all unarmored at this point. And as we add armor, our armor class will typically actually go down. As we get armor class bonuses, our armor class decreases, and lower ACs are harder to hit because that's how it worked in original Dungeons and Dragons, and they didn't switch it for many years after this game came out, even though they wanted to. So we've added our party. We can divvy up our gold if we want. We can inspect with the pound sign, which I'm not actually sure if I have, because I don't have I have like a USB numpad. That's kind of funny that you have to do that with the pound sign. I might have to figure that out. Oh, there we go. It is just 3, so that's cool. I wish it just said 3, but I can see why they did pound sign instead. So yeah, here's our very simple character sheet. Age is actually important because as you leave characters in the inn to rest and regain HP, they will actually age. And if they get to, I think, age 50, they become really feeble. And as they age, their stats will get worse. And a funny thing about the DOS release about this in this game, I'm not sure if it's in the Ultimate Archives version, but it's definitely in the original from what I've read. As you level up, you will consistently gain more HP, but your stats may go up or down, actually. So that's kind of why people, like one reason people seem to prefer the NES version of this game, because that was changed, I guess, to only go up in the NES version. But I really wanted to play the DOS version so we could play it with Grid Cartographer and just so we could see the original, even though it doesn't have music and a lot of sound or whatever. But I do kind of like this UI. I like the simple black and white and the wireframe dungeons that we're going to see real soon here. Yeah, we've got 8 HP, we've got a bunch of gold on each character. We can look at who else should we inspect? How do we actually change characters to inspect? I'm not sure. Oh, that's what it means. It means the number that you press is the character that you're going to look at. So that is why. I was not connecting that. I was just thinking like hashtag or pound sign. So yeah, getting used to old UI is going to be difficult, but we're already figuring it out here. We get 6 to look at Porum. Everybody actually has 8 HP, which I think is funny. I'm not sure what status means, actually. Status okay, so that I guess 8 out of 8 means okay. I guess we'll figure that out. I'm not going to divvy up the gold quite yet. We do have to go buy some things or else we're going to get murdered. So let's go to... Or we're not going to stay here yet. Yeah, we go to the Adventurer's Inn when we want characters to regain hit points, and we're going to leave them there, and we'll probably have to make more characters to allow those characters to rest. So let's go to Boltax Trading Post, and first we're going to have Sophia enter. Sophia has 190 gold, so we're going to buy some things. We're going to buy... humans are not restricted, or fighters are not restricted to different weapons, I don't believe. So we're going to buy a longsword. Purchase 1, just what you needed, obviously. And sometimes messages do come up on the screen, and there is a slight pause that the game enforces so that you have enough time to read those messages, and we can change that pause length apparently by pressing T inside the game. And we might do that later, I'm not sure. But so we have a longsword. We can hit F to go forward and see more items here. We probably want a shield. And probably leather armor. So let's buy the large shield. And now we could buy the chainmail. Breastplate, plate mail, helm, Dios. We can buy some potions here. Those are very expensive. Leather +1. So you can see the better armor is very, very expensive compared to how much money we have. Gloves of copper. I don't even know what those do. Must be very good. So let's buy some chainmail, which is 6. Just what I needed. And then we have 35 gold left on Sophia. And everybody has their own amount of gold, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, then I'm going to feel really silly. But I think that's all we're going to buy on her for now. So let's leave. And try to enter with somebody else. Yeah, so Harundi has his own amount of gold. Eric has his own amount of gold. Everybody has around 190 gold, except for Palom, who got gypped, apparently. Palom only has a paltry 113, but Palom is a mage, so it's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, we still have to buy a lot more stuff. So for Harundi, again, let's buy probably the longsword. I'm not exactly sure of the stats of these items, and I don't think they're in the manual, so we're going to have to figure that out as we go, how much damage we're doing and everything, but I think we can tell that more expensive items are going to do more damage. I'm just going to assume that. So, and he doesn't actually have that many weapons in here. So we could, if we wanted to, we could pool all our gold into one character and have like 1,200 and buy like what's a item around 1,000. We could buy like one piece of plate mail if we really wanted to, but I think it's probably better to hedge our bets and buy good equipment for every character instead of something like one really good item for one character. I'm just going to assume that that's going to be better. In the manual, it definitely stresses that you should have a full party of 6 characters rather than only a few characters. But if we're fighting a group of monsters and a few characters are dead, only the characters that are left alive at the end of the battle after we win are going to get XP. So there is a little bit of strategy that goes into grinding, I guess. So let's get another large shield. And maybe we just got really lucky with how much gold we got. And let's also buy some chainmail. Or maybe they rebalanced it for this version. I don't know. So we've got 37 left on that character. Then we can leave. And next we will have Eric go forth and buy. So Eric is our bishop. So here we can see which items are restricted based on class, and I'm glad that it has this in the UI. I was kind of worried it wasn't going to tell us which items were going to be, as you can see, useless on this character because Eric is a bishop. So we're probably going to get the Anointed Mace. Also, we have here potions. Everybody can use potions. +1 leather. +2 staff would be really nice. But we are going to buy the Anointed Mace, which is number 3. I wish it would confirm what we just bought, but I'm going to assume that I pressed the right button every time. If we didn't, we're going to find out real quick. So we can actually use a shield. I'm not sure if we can have a shield. And oh yeah, the shield and a mace would make sense, correct? So let's buy a small shield for the bishop and leather armor. Oh. Yeah, so I think that's based on the fact that elves can't wear... No, elves can wear anything, I think. Not exactly sure. Let me look at bishop here. Bishops can wear chain armor and use priest weapons. Apparently, they're supposed to be able to, but Eric cannot wear chain armor. I think because he's an elf. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I don't know. Whatever. Let's buy the leather armor to be safe. And now we have 94 left. We will save that. And next we will put Bobo in to buy some thief stuff. I think a short sword is going to be the best thing that you can get, so we'll buy a short sword. And you guys can't even see what numbers I'm pressing either, so I could be buying things that are totally ridiculous, but let's buy a shield. And I apologize if my keyboard is too loud. You guys can tell me if you think it's annoying, but I kind of like the sound, so I'm going to continue to use this keyboard unless you guys really hate it. Yeah, and I would like to buy some potions at the end of this if we have enough gold. I guess we'll find out. Next is Palm, number 5. And I'm sorry if this seems utterly tedious, but in my last Let's Play for Wizardry 8, my entire full Let's Play of Wizardry 8 on Expert difficulty, I didn't cut much out, and for this game I don't think I'm going to be cutting much out either, because this is the game. Inventory management is the game, and I can talk over it. You know, I can come up with something interesting to say almost always, hopefully. I'm going to count on myself to do that anyway. You guys hopefully can sit back and enjoy this. I think if you guys are interested in this game for historical purposes, hopefully I want this to be a valuable Let's Play. That's kind of the reason I wanted to do this, because there's not really a useful Let's Play this game out there. You just kind of have to play it yourself, and not everyone should be forced to play this game. I think, even though I think it's really cool, it's not the most accessible thing anymore, unfortunately. Even the NES version, I don't think is that accessible. Let's buy some robes. I am trying to pay attention to what I'm doing. No, I don't want to. Perhaps another forward. How much was the helm again? 100. So maybe we should definitely have enough to buy helms for people. So now we're going to leave and we're going to pool our gold. Oh, we pooled our gold to Porum, so let's pool it to somebody else. Let's have Sophia enter and pool all our gold. So we have 524 left. So let us buy a helm for her. Purchase. Just what I needed. It only makes noise really when I do something wrong, which is pretty funny. But I guess that's good feedback. That's probably the most that they could implement. Next, we will have Harundi buy. Oh, we need to pool our gold first. There we go. Have the gold. Buy. Forward. The helm. I'm getting used to this. It's gonna take a little bit for me to get faster at it, though. Overall, the keyboard setup is not bad, and I kind of like that everything in this game is keyboard driven. 3. Let's see. Can our bishop wear a helm? We'll find out. Let's pool our gold and find out. Cannot wear a helm. maybe the thief can wear a helm. I'm sure that the mages cannot. Let's pool all our gold. Thief cannot wear a helm. So what do we use our last 300 gold on? We could just save it. We could buy a potion of Latu Mophis, which I do not know what it does, but I can look it up here. So Latu Mophis is cleanse. One person. Latu Mophis removes the effects of poison, so that might be a good purchase. We could save our gold for a rainy day, I suppose, but I think we might as well go in as prepared as we possibly can be. You know, it's definitely possible we could get poisoned early on. I have no idea what we're going to face. Well, it's not entirely true. I've played like the first map of this game like a little bit, very, very sparingly. So I know the beginning monsters are not that crazy, but anyway, let's go to the edge of town. So now we're all set up. We have our party. We have all our items, and now we can finally enter the maze here. It does take a lot of work to actually get into the maze, but now we can equip people. So longsword goes to Sophia, chainmail goes to Sophia, large shield goes to Sophia, helm as well. Equip witch. I like this equip option. It just kind of automatically goes through everybody. So we're just gonna hit one over and over and equip everything, and now we should be good to go. We can inspect people just to make sure we can equip. Yeah, you can see here that it says 1 staff, 2 robes. And our AC has gone down a little bit, which means it has gotten better because of the robes. We can't even... Can we look at things? No, we can read spell books. I don't believe that we can look at our items all that much. We can't identify. Can we use the staff? Powerless. Cannot use the staff. If I hit T now, does it do anything? Maybe it will do something in the dungeon, but you can see, and this is how, what's his name? The guy that made Grid Cartographer, David Walters. I'm going to try to refer to him. And you can follow him on Twitter at Grid Cartographer as well. I'm following him, and he always posts the updates and stuff. But you can see how he scripted this as we've gone into, since we've gone into the camp, we've shown up on the map here at 00. And when we hit leave, we will actually enter the dungeon. And we enter the dungeon through the stairs. So we're going to enter our first piece of the map here. We're going to find our... we could find the stairs, but I think I'm just going to use a ladder. I don't know. Yeah, we could just use a ladder down, because it seems a little more obvious than the stairs. Yeah, I don't like these stairs, the stair icon, all that much. Well, let's use stairs. It says stairs, we're going to use stairs. So here's our stairs, and you can see in our 3D view that we have the stairs here. And as we turn around, we have to actually turn around in the game. We don't want to go back up the stairs. But as we turn around in the game, you can see our avatar is going to change direction as well. And when we move forward, we're going to automatically map here on the grid, and we're going to move one forward in the 3D view. And I've set up the colors to look like basically just like the Wizardry setup. So if you don't want to watch, as I'm moving through the map, if you don't want to watch this screen, you can watch the 3D view instead, and it should mirror those movements. And if I try to leave the map, it's going to say you can't walk through walls, and it's not going to let me leave the map in the 3D view or in the grid either, because I have collision enabled here. So, and even if I didn't, I don't know how he has this scripted. It seems very cool. But it's not going to let me leave the dungeon here. And since I believe we're probably in the lower left corner of this map, because that's where he has us starting. I'm guessing that's how this is set up. We're going to leave that unchecked, and we're going to use this view for now. You can see we're in basement 1, and there's going to be 10 levels of this. The ground floor is the town. And we can't walk through walls, so let's continue on through this dungeon and hope that we don't die. We're just going to move forward here. And as we go, I can actually turn the UI off in the game so it looks even plainer. These two views are like indistinguishable now. We can turn just the status bar off so we can just see the top. We can camp here. We can inspect. We actually found... Oh, we found a character that I made previously. So the one funny thing is if a character dies in the dungeon, then they're just kind of left lying around. And if you go to where they died, then you can pick them back up and leave with them and bring them back to town. But since I don't have any room in my party right now, I'm pressing G, but it's not letting me pick them up because we don't have any room. So we will get them. We will get Nick later, maybe. Maybe we should make a marker of that. Yeah. And again, Grid Cartographer is super nice because we can map, we can make marks for all this stuff. Let's do a note here and say Nick lies here. Cool. And then when we mouse over that, we can see Nick lies here. This is super useful. You can already see, I think, why this is a much better way to play this game now. This really reminds me of playing Etrian Odyssey, and I really love that series because I think they really nailed the feel of playing old dungeon crawlers and like made it really accessible because you had the DS and you could you play through the first person view and you mapped out your progress on the bottom screen on the DS, and I think it's really, really fun. And they even added like an auto map feature for people that don't want to draw their maps in like their most recent edition in Etrian Odyssey 5. The other reason this 3D view is super useful is that we actually can see farther than one square, and I think there actually is a spell in this game that will let us see even farther, but for now we can only see the next square in front of us, so we really can't see anything that's coming. But in our 3D view we can actually get a better idea of where we've been. So let's continue here. Looks like we have a door and we have the end of this hallway. Let's like inspect the end of this hallway. So he's not in that particular square, it seems. We just know that he's in the dungeon. Maybe we will get him later. I don't know. But we'll hit leave. It's really funny that it leaves those test characters lying around, though. So we didn't find anything else here. And I don't believe there's any way of getting rid of those old characters unless you like deleted the game and reinstalled it. Like they're just hard coded into the game now, which I think is super interesting. Like the fact that you were meant to play this game going through with multiple parties rather than like one party like in a typical dungeon crawler now, like modern day dungeon crawler, I think is really interesting. And I think that's how like Wizardry 1 through 5 are set up. You're like meant to go through with multiple parties. And if we ever get to Wizardry 4, I'm really interested to see how that goes because that is supposed to be one of the hardest RPGs of all time, like ever made. So we will see. We're going to put a doorway here, and we can see the doorway. And let's go through our door here. And we hit our first encounter. Friendly group of undead kobolds. Oh, I'm sure they're very friendly. So since they're friendly, that means we can leave, correct? Yeah, so we're not going to fight them because they're friendly, I suppose. We could if we wanted the XPs, but doesn't appear to be anything else in here. I'm not exactly sure how inspect works. Okay, we found these old characters. Now these characters are like stock characters that are set up in the game, so I guess we could have wandered down to this room with like one character and picked up. That must be what their intention is. You're supposed to like walk down to this room first thing and pick up these guys. And you can see my auto mapper, since I'm on bulldozer mode, it didn't put these walls in for me, so I'm gonna have to do some manual mapping here, but not a ton with this mode turned on. And we're gonna save our map. So if you don't want to make your own party, you can just grab these guys and go, which I actually didn't know. I didn't know that they were here. So that's pretty funny. Leave. But I will make a note of that, I think. We get a little bit of perspective here, but it's not much, so we really need to rely on our 3D view here, which is super helpful. We have a little bit of lag even in the 3D view. Okay, so let's mark here. we'll just say sample party. I'm sure we will use those guys later if this party that we just made dies. So now continuing on, we can't go any further east here. And I'm kind of playing mainly by, like I'm looking in the actual game, but I'm also looking at the map to kind of orient myself. But this, I can already tell, like, this is way easier than when I was trying to play the game normally. And I'm not like sponsored by David or anything, or Grid Cartographer. I'm not trying to sell his product in any kind of official capacity, but I do recommend you use it. And there's a free version if you're going to play these kind of games. And there's no like save feature in this game. It's like if we lose our characters, it's like Dark Souls. Like if we lose our characters, then they're just done for forever. Again, we'd have to reinstall the game if we wanted to start from scratch, and there's no way to get those characters back unless we use like a game editor, which people obviously made for this game. You could edit your own parties so you had like max powers and everything, max levels. I'm assuming that's how it worked. Monsters surprised us, so we're gonna fight some skeletons here, and they're not friendly this time. Skeleton charges at Sophia and misses. So yeah, since they surprised us, they get to go first, but thankfully they are not. They did not destroy us. So let's hit fight on Sophia. Parry is your generic dodge thing. We don't have any items to use otherwise, so we'll just fight and probably parry. 4 damage. Oh, and Sophia died already, so that sucks. So I guess we really wanted to use a a fighter, or a dwarf for a fighter. Parry. Kill the skeleton. Kill the second skeleton. Okay. Everybody else looks okay except for Eric. But we don't have any spells, correct? Spell name. I don't think... I'll have to check our spell books, but I don't think we have any spells currently, but I'm probably wrong. So... yeah, I'll have to check our spell books after this. Skeleton is killed. Skeleton is killed. Misses. We must have gotten really unlucky with Sophia there. We'll fight again. Parry. And skeleton is killed. Here's our first chest. So if we had... do we have the spell Solfo? I don't think we have that spell, but I'm guessing that would disarm the trap. So let's disarm with our thief, which is number 3. Trap exits. I don't know what that means. Disarm 3. Trap. So now we have to guess the trap. Oh, okay. So yeah, we have to identify what the trap is to disarm it. So I don't know. Okay, so Bobo is poisoned. Thankfully, we did buy that potion. So how do we use our potion exactly? Inspect. Nobody's here. Camp. Inspect Bobo. And then we're going to use our potion of Latimos. Cast on Bobo. Done. So he should not be poisoned anymore. Alright, so that was successful. Unfortunately, Sophia died. So that sucks. I should mark this door as well. So we'll put the door here. And it looks like we can explore the rest of this room at least, and there's nothing else here. Oh, shit. Hopefully we don't die. Fight which group? So now we have to pick between which groups. I'm guessing the orcs are the harder ones, probably. And I didn't get a chance to check our spells. We could run away, so we might do that. We haven't lost anyone else yet, at least. And Grundy has an armor class of 3, so he's doing actually very well, I would imagine. So maybe we should have put him in the front, in the very front to start off with. I don't know. Killed an orc. Small humanoid leaps at Grundy and does 3 damage. People are dying all over the place. Eric has 1 hit point left. I think we're going to take our chances and leave. So we actually were able to run away, so that's good. Thankfully. Let's inspect again. There's nothing here, so I'm kind of miffed that we had to die there, but... what I should do is put a standard door here, not a door icon. There we go. That makes more sense. So let us get rid of this icon. That's not. I don't want to use the eraser. I want to use this. Not that. I want to use this. No, I don't. I know there's a way to... Oh yeah, so if you want to get rid of an icon, you just pick the same icon and then click on it to delete it. So yeah, I'm still getting used to that a little bit. But let's try and hightail it back to town. And already you can see we're in this space and we don't see any other way of progressing, right? So I assume there's a secret door somewhere that we have to find. And we're probably going to drop Sophia off and then go back down the stairs and pick up either Nick or one of those other characters. So now I think we can go to the temple and who shall we help? Sophia? Oh, I want to leave temple Sophia. So to resurrect Sophia we need 250 gold. Now I'm kind of sad that we bought the poison potion, but we needed the poison potion because we got hit with the poison needle trap. We don't have enough gold, so for now we can't do anything about Sophia, right? But we can go back to the maze and leave. No. And let's grab Nick. I don't remember if I actually like raised this character's stats at all. So let's inspect. I won't need to hit get who to leave. 6, 5. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Oh, 1. Get. Okay, we got him, but he's dead. Yeah, I remember that now. We'll take him to the temple as well. So we've got a couple characters there. Then we'll go back to the maze. We will grab oh, we got slimes here. I think we can beat the slimes. No problem. I swear I'm going to look at our spells right after this. Killed a slime. We should rest too. Kill the slime. Kill the slime. These slimes are easy. Bubbly slimes. You can fight bubbly slimes all day. If you just hit enter, you can go through like 5 or 6 times. You can go through, do everything. 7 damage, no problem. Let's disarm with Bobo. Trap. Poison needle. Disarm the trap. Nice. We got some gold. And I was just guessing that it was a poison needle trap because we found a poison needle trap before. Let's inspect. Let's get Thesis because I believe... and if you notice, I believe that these names are the same names that they use in Wizardry 8 in the starting party. If you just hit like if you don't generate your own party and just go into the game, these are the characters that they give you. So and they use these throughout the entire Wizardry series, I believe, which is pretty cool. So we will get Thesis, and he's a fighter. So now I'll have to reorder. So we will put Thesis in front, and then Grundy, Eric, Bobo, Callum, Porum. Cool. And it auto-filled that last character. But Thesis does not have any equipment. So we will have to go back up. And we should have more gold now since we opened those 2 chests. So let's actually go to the trading post. Oh shit, I hit leave. Sorry. Let me get back into the game here. So if you hit leave town, it actually exits the game. And I think we will be done with this segment shortly. But anyway, so now we have to go to the tavern and add everybody back. So, but you can see it did save all of our characters, and we know that Nick and Sophie are dead. So we're going to add Thesis. Did it actually add Thesis, Grundy, Eric, Bobo, Palamon, Porum? Okay. But we have all our stats, so you can see it did actually save the game, even though we didn't hit save or anything. That's just how it's going to be, which is like pretty advanced for an old game like this, how it's just like writing everything directly without our own input. I think it's pretty neat. Let's see how much gold we have left when we go to the trading post. So Thesis can enter. We will pull all the gold, and we have 269, so that'll be enough to at least buy some equipment for this guy. So we'll buy longsword again. We'll probably have to go through this, kind of buying stuff, like the same stuff over and over for different characters. So we'll go forward and buy the large shield. Just what I needed. And my voice is starting to go as well. So you can probably tell, we can buy a breastplate for this guy instead of the chainmail on the helm. Let's see how good that is if we just buy the breastplate. And that'll leave us with 4 gold. But it really didn't take that long for us to get some... Well, we got a little bit of gold, and most of the gold Thesis had on him already. But we do have a store of 4 other characters worth of gold in that room, which is good to remember, I think. And we can always get more gold if we create more characters. So we really have like an unlimited supply of gold. I'm not really sure how many characters we're allowed to make. I think we can make quite a lot of characters. And every time we make a character, we get like 190 gold, then we could just like create characters over and over and over to try and get a gold pool going, even though that would be really tedious to do, like to navigate all these menus and put the gold together. I'm just realizing this now. That's definitely like, it seems like a viable strategy, so we might have to do that. It would be kind of annoying if we did have to, but let's go to the maze and equip. For Thesis, 1, 1, 1, 1. We'll see how good Thesis is. AC is actually goes down to 3, so it's actually as good as the dwarf. And you can see Thesis is a neutral fighter, not a good fighter, but he'll still play nice with our party, even though he's neutral. If he was evil, he could not actually join our party because evil and good characters cannot be in the same party. Is the main thing. I believe that's how that works anyway. So, yeah, we can play a little bit more, I think, and then we will end for this segment. I don't think there's going to be anything more over there, so I feel like we have to find a secret door somewhere. Can't walk through walls, but... Oh, I mapped it incorrectly here. So, one problem with the bulldozer is that it always adds lines around us, so that can kind of trick us into thinking that we've hit a dead end when we really haven't. So I think I'm going to turn bulldozer mode off for now, and then if we walk forward, we should still create, yeah, we do still create footprints, but I'm going to have to map things on my own for now. So I'll turn it on, but it does mean that we actually have to watch the game. And I'll compromise by adding in edges when we see them. Here, yeah, I think that'll be the smart thing to do. Otherwise, it'll lead us into thinking that we've hit dead ends when we really haven't. So that is one thing to watch out for sure. We know that this is a door, so we're going to put a doorway here. And I hope that this is at least that you guys can follow this at least a little bit. It definitely seems like it would be more accessible to me. Okay, this is getting interesting now. I'm really interested in like the design of these mazes and maybe like the information that we can glean from studying this game. Can't walk through walls, can't walk through walls. Looks like we end up with another wall here. And now we're kind of getting out into this emptier space, which is interesting. But with our handy dandy map, we're always sure about where we are. I'm just gonna see how far this goes exactly. There's a lot of doors here. Wow. Okay. And I think a lot of people wonder why this is on a lot of top 100 lists, but I can already see like some really interesting design things going on. Even in this very simple, like primitive, quote unquote primitive kind of game, you can already kind of tell. Large sign on the wall reads "Area out of bounds," and already like we can see the start of the wizardry, like goofy type of humor that is really only in old computer RPGs, and people don't really put this kind of humor in games anymore. This kind of meta humor, because we want the player to be so immersed in the game that we can't possibly say we can't like possibly draw the player's attention to the fact that they're playing a video game. That's just nonsense. But in this game, the designers didn't really care nearly as much about that kind of stuff. At least that's the impression I'm getting. So let's do another door. I'm not going to go through these doors quite yet. Take the stairs down. So we already found our second stairwell. But I think we would be foolish to try to go down to the next level without fully exploring this level. I don't know why. Oh, because I hit purple. We want it to be white, so it blends in. We could make these things purple, though. I don't think that we can actually say what that message is. I do want to mark that wall as kind of special, though, just in case it's important. I don't think it is important, though. I think it's just a joke. So don't have a lot of options here, and you can actually use your own custom tile sets if you import them. I just haven't bothered to download any or create my own. And like for more graphically oriented games, like advanced games, you can put in your own like grass and stuff too. But for this game, we're just going to stick with black and white wireframe. If we're going to start with grid cartographer, I wanted to start from the beginning, so that's what we're going to do. Annotation. Save point. I like that they include that. So we're going to put the message there, and then we're going to add a note of our own, I think. Yep. So this is out of bounds. You can see. Okay. And originally I was planning on just blogging my Let's Play of this game and writing about it and including the maps and everything, but I think this will be equally as interesting to actually see me do it live. I'm actually getting interested in what's happening. So we've got doors on either side. I'm sure we've got encounters all over the place. Let's inspect this. If you don't find anybody. I believe like if you inspect, you can actually find things other than people as well. We actually haven't hit too many random encounters for a game that seems like it would have a lot of random encounters. We actually haven't hit that many, which is pretty cool. Inspect. Nobody. Okay. I do kind of want to mark this wall. Let's mark it like this. Even though we know it's not actually bars, that'll work. Let's hit enter. I'm getting kind of used to this workflow, quote unquote workflow, of moving through the space and mapping it at the same time. Yeah, this is another problem with the bulldozer, because if we go into the space that's right next to another room, then it kind of clears out that wall. So I don't think we'll be able to use bulldozer anymore, unfortunately. We want this kind of thing. To get rid of these. So sadly, I think we're gonna have to turn off bulldozer for the rest of this. Maybe we can use it for some specific spots, but I'm getting kind of antsy about how it's kind of obscuring some progress, I think. So let's get rid of. Oh man, what do I want exactly? I want this. Yes. Now I want to remove that wall. And like, this program is not perfect, but it's the best thing that I've found so far for mapping this kind of game. And for making your own like D&D dungeons if you want to like make them digitally. And we can't get rid of this wall exactly. So we'll have to draw our own terrain in here. Like we're still beholden to our own mapping skills here. We're still, man, we can't paint the ground. Okay. So this is kind of an issue with this program, unfortunately, that we have to deal with. I can't remove this wall either. Oh, because now are we boxed in? Need to delete this wall somehow. There, jeez. So yeah, it's not perfect. But I think it should be very, very helpful. And we're still going to hold this map in our mind's eye as well, I think. Here we go. 3, 4, 5. And you might argue that having the walls there is not super important, but I think it is going to be very important. For navigating this game in the long run. Okay. I think that's a good place to stop, actually, because I'm kind of getting tired and I'm kind of just wandering around aimlessly. But we haven't fought that many monsters, actually, and I think we've learned a fair bit about this game. We've mapped out. It's looking like maybe half of the first floor so far. So if you've enjoyed this at all, please let me know. I'm really curious to see what people think about this specific kind of Let's Play in this very specific kind of game. But I'm really having fun, and I think it's going to be super interesting to go through, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, until next time, I've been Nick Burnham, and yeah, have a good rest of your day. Bye.